Welcome, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us today. It is my pleasure to have as my guest today, Kerstin Schoen. Kerstin has been an energy practitioner since 1997 when she took a first deep dive into the work of energy medicine. She has a master's in counseling. And in 2004, she became involved in reconnective therapy. By 2008, she was the executive vice president of reconnective therapy. And she has now become the primary healing practitioner in that very powerful modality. And it is my utmost pleasure to welcome her today to talk about the topic of surrender. Welcome, Kerstin.
Welcome. Hello. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure to have you. And would you like to start us off with just a brief centering meditation?
First of all, Om DJ Saima to everyone on this call today. It's really beautiful to be with you again. After a while, Mary allowed me to take, she said, I have hiatus or sabbatical, for a little bit.
We all need those, don't we?
I just got it this year, just was a big year, but it's a pleasure to be here with you and spend this hour with you.
Pleasure is mine, Kerstin.
So for this, I invite you to simply become aware how your body is right now. Become aware how you sit, how your posture is, wherever you are when you're listening. And taking a conscious journey through your body with the breath through the nose and then down your spine, down to your sacrum, to the last part of your spine, and then up again and out through your mouth. Another breath in. And out through your mouth. And one more. When you have not already done so, I invite you to close your eyes right now and simply be present to whatever is right now happening for you in this moment. Being aware of your physicality of your body, but also inviting in and being aware of the essence, the light that you are, that's entering your crown chakra, down through all your chakras and filling up your body with this beautiful, precious light that you are, the essence that you are. And allow this to expand, first in your physicality and then beyond your physicality. And with this light, imagine now you're touching and meeting every other Magdalena. Every Magdalena that is present, every Magdalena that it will come in the future to this grid. And see this grid of light like embracing each other, touching each other throughout the whole globe. Feeling the pulsation of the essence that you are, connecting with one another. With grace, with tenderness, with love. And knowing that Ma is always with us. Mary Magdalena, her essence is always with us. Master Jesus, always present. And all the other light beings or ascended masters that you know that is in your yin, in your light bodies, in your light beings around you. And in this place, just allow to feel completely your heart now. Feel your heart. Whenever you're ready, with all their presence and with all our presence, just open your eyes and I welcome you in the room again.
Thank you, Kerstin. It was lovely. Well, Kerstin, I have to say, when we discussed the topic for this program, Surrender, I was so very, very excited about the thought of you and I having this discussion. Because I know that your life, like mine, has brought so many opportunities to surrender at depth to life as it is, not necessarily as you and I's egos might have intended it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's not something you plan ahead, consciously.
No, nor would we have, right? Doesn't mean there wasn't the greatest of blessings inside of it, but it certainly was not planned for either one of us. So for those of you who are not aware, Kerstin and I both lost our life partners as they transitioned out of the physical body and on to their next adventure, so to speak. And so, Kerstin, let's start by having a bit of a discussion around surrender itself and its importance. When I think about surrender in the English language, and of course, I know you're from Austria and do a lot of translation with regards to the German language, I think about how unfortunate it is that this highest of spiritual principles, surrender, is associated with like losing on the battlefield, defeat, putting up a white flag. Is it the same within the German culture?
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe you guys had it easier.
It makes me laugh, Diana, because it reminds me, Diane, I'm sorry. It reminds me of when we talked briefly before, but it still makes me laugh because there was a while, really for a long time, where I had this conversation with Herwig, actually, my late husband, and we were teaching we were teaching all over, but especially in the German language then. And when we came to the topic of surrender, and I remember it was several years ago, he said, well, that's really the best way to say is, and I say it in German forward, I know we have some German speaking people in the Magdalena program, but it's bedingungslose Kapitulation. Somehow it could be translated as unconditional surrender. Unconditional surrender, but capitulation is a word like so much with so much military is in there, like a
Yes,
military
exactly.
accent. And I went like, you should have seen me in all these classes. I went like, oh my God, this is not true. What is he doing here? I said, okay, he maybe has more words about German. We always had this internal joke. I'm from Austria, he's from Germany. So they speak different languages, which is actually the same, but it was interesting to see and feel my reaction and the people's reaction, actually,
Yeah.
because it is true. It can be used, and it's coming more from a military point of view or military language, which of course we have a different word too that we can choose, which we decided to take then after some time. But now I'm more in peace with unconditional surrender, with bedingungslose Kapitulation. I can see where that comes from, because a lot of me has actually, has had a different experience with that, and also with the language. But there's now Hingabe is what we use in a way, is a different word now for surrender, which could also seen in a different context.
Yeah, because it seems to me, Kerstin, that when you think about it in that military context, it's all about defeat.
Mhm.
And inside of spiritual practice, what it brings, the importance of it, I don't think can be underestimated. And it seems to me that using that language creates even more resistance in people and being able to go there and understand the beauty and the benefits.
Absolutely, depending on how the words are programmed in the brain.
Yeah.
What kind of bridge those words have. For
Yeah.
me, it had a catastrophic bridge, for me,
No.
whoa, you cannot say that. But I went also back, we have to also address here, I think, something else what I really love to speak about, which is when we go back, especially in the Hinduism and Hinduism philosophy, okay? When we go back to the Bhagavad Gita,
Right.
Bhagavad Gita, well, where is the main platform where this is all, or the stage where this is being, addressed? Those 700 verses
War.
in Sanskrit, it's war.
War. Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
but also Krishna and Arjuna are having a conversation,
Yes.
and
Beautiful.
if you read it really with thoughtful, and I know we all, those of you who were at the Kumbh Mela, I'm so happy. I actually have it right over there. We always got gifted the Bhagavad Gita. I loved from very early on. I studied religious studies at some point as well, and I loved the Bhagavad Gita. I always had it. At some point, it was at a place in the house where everybody could grab it and just read a little bit, like one paragraph at a time. It does something, because every part of this has taught me or brought me a little bit more to see the importance or the awareness of equanimity.
Yes,
you know
without a doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we can go in there and see, and get these reactions to the
Right.
word, however the word is bridged. But I think there's something else that maybe also the philosophy, the Hindu philosophy wants to give us the information. It is a literature about war, but still it's so much God. It's so much knowledge in there about
Right.
equanimity. It's amazing.
Right. And here, instead of surrendering to an enemy,
Correct.
you're surrendering to who you really are,
Correct.
to all of creation as it is. No duality.
Right.
That's where I see the big difference. What do you think about that, Kerstin?
Well, it is always, you know, I mean, yeah, we have thoughts and we have super intense emotions, and then certain situations and where we are, whatever we experience, I mean, it is in polarity. It is
Yes.
not always that we are always in bliss, so we can go, I mean, Ma is teaching us the best way possible. I'm thinking of Magdalena many times or have been, and always have gotten from my friends the last year said, "Oh my God, you're so in the Magdalena path." And I'm like, well, thank you for that message. I took a breath. That was my help to go through it. I took a breath and said, yes, that's true. Yeah, I'm on the Magdalena path. What does that mean? Like what you said, what are those roles? Well, it's the role I'm choosing to have in each moment.
Right. And we can think about Mary Magdalena's role and the extent to which surrender, her ability to surrender, enabled her to play that role.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that, Kerstin?
Well, there's this one thing, when Ma shares with us always about the grand design, and look at the grand design, look what opportunity we have now and what we are actually doing, what we are invited to be in here, what we are invited to go in and grow in. And I think the similar thing, the similar situation was with Magdalena. There was just, they knew, or something in her knew, this is the Messiah, or this is the grand design, or the just what needs to be done. But was it not maybe with a lot of challenges around her? Absolutely. Absolutely. But still going in that one direction and still walking that path of devotion, knowing, or something. It feels like to me sometimes when I more and more connect with Magdalena, there's just this knowingness in her that pushed her.
Right.
And that kept her. And what maybe it's an assumption of mine, but what the only thing is just to keep the focus on doing, and keep the focus on the goal.
Right. And it seems to me that with regards to Mary Magdalena, to keep the focus on the divine purpose that was there, as opposed to what her ego would have intended. Obviously, seeing her beloved master suffer and die was not what her ego would ever have intended. And yet, critical, important. The resurrection could never have happened without that.
Correct.
That light could never have come.
Correct. And that's, so for me, that was one part, when the message was then clear and came to me and my partner, it was the same. But the only thing in me would, when this wave came over, the only thing for me, the focus I went to was I just wish the best for his soul.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, there were a lot of other areas and domains that we did not know. I did not know where to go, but this was the one thing I said, like, please, I just wish the best alignment, the best for his soul.
That's it.
What it looks like.
And being able to take that leap of faith, open your heart and keep your heart open in that space where things can seem so dark.
Well, it went very dark. No, it went very dark, because when then that was there, but then of course, fear and terror even, and all these qualities showed up actually I didn't know anything what will happen. So it was like the unknown, right?
Yes.
But I needed to over and over again, and I got amazing guidance throughout the whole time, of course. And always, of course, well, where can I have influence now? In what do I have influence right now? That's where I can put my focus on.
Right. Right.
There's certain tasks that maybe can be done, certain organizations, certain research, whatever that might have been. And there I was putting literally my focus and my energy towards.
Yeah.
Because if I would have gotten lost, I could have gotten lost in all kinds of not knowings and fear of course, already going that, oh, what if he dies? You know, what if it, like that was there? Absolutely, that
What
thought. You know, what was presenting itself, and I could not be there for long because it was all over. But then to redirect myself and taking a breath, always with the breathing and feeling the body. That's why for me it's so really essential since all this time to be aware how much of us, or the essence in us, is in our physical body.
uh, Kirsten, I can't agree with you more. It seems to me that that process of surrender was much about when that pain would come, just dropping down into the body without resistance
Right.
and allowing myself to have the full experience of what was there. And what I learned early on was that if I fully surrendered to that, it would come and it would go, come and go, come and go. It could not overwhelm me. But the moment there was any resistance there, the moment that I did not surrender, then that was when those waves of grief would overwhelm me. But as long as I stayed in my body, no resistance, no judgment, just the experience of what was there, then it just passed in the moment.
Absolutely. But also then, and then, you know, it's almost like every moment literally is different. So I don't know if there ever is an attaining of surrender. I see that so often with my students. They're like, oh, when did I? Oh, acceptance. I have accepted this now. I have accepted it and check
And
the.
it's gone. It's gone.
Not about that. It's just not about that. It's something that you actually really learn. It's how to be with,
Right.
and what you then can do, you know, in
Yeah.
this moment. And every moment is absolutely different. I mean, the time for me, before having left the body or then after having left the body, there's very different times,
Yes.
you know. And so, but it was also beginning already because it was so conscious. It was before, there was a different challenge, you know, different situations to surrender to, and then after, again, different situations to surrender to.
Yeah.
And it's always because I've seen, because it's the unknown that one is afraid of.
Yes.
And the most beautiful thing is for me, as I'm so, so grateful to have a master in my life, is just that absolutely, I don't know. I don't know how other people can do it. I really don't know. But to have Ma in our life, to just every moment, and then to have this guidance, and this is what Ma is teaching us all along. You know, just to know that literally we have this joy in us all the time, no
All the
matter
time.
what, no
All
matter
the
what.
time.
Correct.
And when you surrender and there's no resistance there, then you can move with that energy. Then you can use your intention to, as you were saying, focus on the light and direct that.
To have a clear focus, and that's why practice and repetition is number one. It just is the most important thing. I'm sorry to say this, guys, but it just is. To have something regular that you can give your system, that you redirect and redirect and redirect, because something in one, or what we call the mental box, you know, our mind or something, is used from programming and to do it in a different way. So if we want to go beyond that, it's just this. I've seen it. I sometimes I got hooked, and I talked in this. When was this? In the biohealing class, I think. This was this teaching what I just got before. I saw that how I create this hook to these thoughts, to this box, right? And then I want to stay in there. Something in me
Yeah.
wants to keep that thought. It's almost like, yes, I'm resisting the light, but also something in me wants this other part that just keeps me low. So I stay with the cloud, you could say. You know, I hang with the cloud where we always get the teaching, no, just be. And this is what I've learned in India. When the time was, because I had the chance to bring the remains of my beloved to India, and we had the celebration of life ceremony there, you know, and I mean, just there were a lot of things in me. For example, first of all, I didn't want to carry his urn. I didn't. I really didn't want to, But later on, I heard here in Germany, he left the body in Germany, and there was something. So I knew when I received the urn, okay, I received it. Okay, thank you. And then instantly I start, okay, thank you. This is not him anymore. And I actually also had the sentence then behind, because this is what in a way I think he did for me. He said, that's not my body anymore. Many times said, is that, well, Kerstin, that's not my body anymore. But, please do that for me with this body. That was a conversation we had before. And, but I just needed to say, yeah, that's not his body. That's clear. But still, I didn't want to hold it, which I then also did. But when we received that urn in Germany, and then I knew I don't want to have this in the house. I do not want to have the urn in the house. And I said then very clearly where we went, where we stayed, and said we had a garden house, and said, no, we create an altar there, which is when we come home, you don't walk through the house, we go on the side, and please, let's put an altar there and let's leave it there until I leave for India, which was just actually 10 days later. And then the interesting part, when I arrived in India, and I still had this, I had a friend of mine with, and she was I love her so much. She was so awesome. She said, Kerstin, no problem. I travel with you. I take the urn, I do this, and thank you so much. And so then we traveled so consciously there. And then when we came, Anandanandas in the ashram, they're amazing, this team, and he prepared me, said, Kerstin, you have to understand, we don't want to be unkind to you. I said, okay, what does he mean, right? He said, no, but I want to prepare you. The urn does not go onto the in the ashram or on the ashram's property. And I'm like, okay. He said, we have a safe place for the urn. It will stay out there locked out, but it's not for the urn to go onto the property or into the ashram. And what we will do, we will bless you and we will wash you and clean you with Ganga water, and then you may enter. And
Lovely.
then look at that, Diane. So take just this picture, right? Or every one of you. And I thought, like, wow, I in me somehow knew, so something in me knew I do not want the urn in the house back in Germany.
Yeah.
I didn't want that for whatever reason. It's not that I resisted the ashes or I resisted the whole picture. There was something else about this clarity and what we do and what it means. Really consciously follow that. Okay, here's the body, the energy leaves the body. Okay, the essence left the body, then it's just the body there.
Yeah.
It's really just the body. And for that, because you love this being, of course you want to do the best for the body, but the essence started a new beginning.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that for me, is and was and still is, when I think of that and what I experienced, there always has been little steps of surrender for every moment. Whatever,
Yes.
to check. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I do want to do it. Whew, then I breathe again. And then I was waiting for that sign, literally a sign. Okay. For me, it's always this, what is in alignment right now?
Yeah. Right. And that changes
Absolutely.
moment to moment. When you were saying that, Kerstin, I was thinking about my two daughters grieving over my husband, and when we went to see his body, and they had very different reactions, both of which I think embody what you're saying. My little one said, Mom, he's not in there. That was clear. He's gone. That's not him. Done.
Sorry.
And my oldest one was crying over her father, and she said, yes, but this was his home where he was here. So
Yeah,
it was precious to me.
of course.
And so it was both of that, as you just described. It's they're not there, and yet you honor that temporary home that they once inhabited, and surrendering to both aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So see, there are so many different aspects of surrender. So how can you ever say, oh, I've mastered it or I'm mastering it? I'm thinking back to my students, how they say, how they are thinking sometimes about this. Oh, I did it right. I said, it's not about doing right and wrong. I don't know what is right for me right now, but I do the best. I do
Right.
the best what I feel I can. And then I just hear and I learn. And please tell me, in alignment, tell me, you know, what is right now on.
But don't you think that is such a key aspect of surrender? And that is recognizing I don't know what's right for me.
Absolutely.
And therefore I can drop my little ego and surrender to what is as it is and then create from that
Absolutely.
space. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A little tougher maybe in the application than than in just saying those words.
See, I also had other things to surrender to. And for example, then enormous preciousness from people, and for me, just to allowing them to gift, allowing them, for me to take something on, what they want to give me or what they want to offer me, how they want to serve or whatever. I was like, oh my God, this was a place also for me to learn, and that was coming towards me, not so much for Hervik, it was something for me. Then where am I in my place? And maybe you have experienced the same thing there,
Definitely.
right? It's just the most beautiful thing, how love, and when people come together, when they come and they want to do that, and then to just, I needed to over and over refocus on just receive, Kerstin, just allow to receive.
Yeah.
So
Without a doubt. So it's on both sides, right? Surrendering to both sides of that equation, or what appears to be both sides, right?
that's what I
Right.
that's what I wanna that's what I wanna share here, I think. And when I thought about it, because it's you can surrender to so many things, it's not always about what we call the bad stuff or the fear.
No.
uh, I think it has many aspects, and it's something, it's not something we can do, but we can allow to happen, or we can allow to get into the state of vulnerability.
And Kirsten, I think for so many of us who are devoted to caring for others, this is such a great challenge to open ourselves and allow ourselves to be taken care of in those moments of need.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Kirsten, tell me, how has this most recent and very deep experience of surrender in your life, how has that impacted your spiritual path?
I'm sorry.
I know it's huge, right?
That question is great. How has that impacted my spiritual path? There was never a doubt. There was for me, there was absolutely never doubt. I remember Ma's words, he said, never worry 1 second. And I learned to listen to what Ma says in that moment. And then we all maybe come to this and we forget, right? We forget certain things, whatever Ma said at some point, but there comes a moment again when you will remember. When this is showing up for you, or so, or you will remember a moment when Ma said to you something, or something for you happened, you will remember that. And that's for me. So when this happens and I know something has validity, and it's so enormous, then I feel like, oh, I need to write that down for whatever reason, but I need to write it down. So I have my little booklet with me, and I wrote that down, and I can go exactly there and open the page where I wrote that down. Never worry 1 second. That was for me like a mantra to learn, and said, okay. And here it was again. And that showed then up because I wrote it down. I then, in certain moments when there was absolute distress or challenges of new informations, and challenges for me to make new decisions, what I never made before, needed to make before, right?
Yes.
So it was again this breath, and then just the remembering of these words. And then I said, okay, taking a deep breath, remembering these words, refocusing on these words, and then, okay, taking one step at a time. What can I do right now? What is for me to actually take action in? With this awareness, what can I take action in right now? And then I took a breath, and then I continued to do that. And that is, doesn't matter if business, if finances, if it's health, if it's personal, it doesn't really matter.
It sounds to me like that would be a lovely practice that we could all take on, right?
Absolutely.
Particularly in these days.
Absolutely. It's creating new thoughts. Absolutely.
Well, and going to that place of surrender and knowing that there's never really any need to worry, no matter what shows up in the news and the external world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but it's this, it's not so much to be, so here we have to make a distinction, I think, not to be naive with certain situations. So you don't, that's why I'm saying I'm coming back to how important the body is. One can then be in bliss or meditate and go woo-hoo-hoo out there. Well, here it will be a problem when you have to do day-to-day, make decisions, daily-to-day decisions, or in your business, in your family, with your kids, whatever you have. You have to be, partially it's so important, you have to be absolutely here, but then you also can be there, right? So we are learning this, being here and being there at the same time.
And that's the key, at the same time. It's not leaving and going somewhere else. It's not abandoning your body or your life.
Exactly.
It's about the full experience, right?
So that helped me, to have that help me, where I recently also created an anchor point, and just like, okay, where's my anchor point now? So I create higher qualities, either it is the sun, or it is for maybe the higher self, or you can choose Magdalena energy, you can choose whatever it is for you that is the highest. I sometimes choose a very high quality where I find, okay, where is my, like I call it the sun, or where is my anchor point? Where I can then refocus on and say, oh, there it is. This is actually what I want, right? Because it helps me to get out of the funk, what is happening right and left. So I say, no, wait a second, this is what I want, which is right now the case where I'm in a situation more with, again, creating, which has to do with documentation and so with paperwork in essence. And no, I see already beyond, I see kind of the goal, what I envision myself, but I also know inside it's going to be okay. But I still do in between those steps that are necessary to do.
And you're still embodied in the moment. You're not
Absolutely.
using those practices to try to get away from life as it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So this whole experience, when you ask me, how did this, how was this for my spiritual life? Well, definitely this moment, it opened a whole other domain.
Uh-huh.
Because when I was in India and I got to be in the ashram, I'm thinking now, the image that came to me when you asked this now, what happened there was this really, after I offered the ashes to Mata Ganga, then there was the moment where I could choose to take mundan. That's why I'm having short hair again, where you can shave your head, to just really allow yourself to clean. And it's really getting rid of all the information that's stored literally in your hair.
Yeah.
And you can feel I've done this once before, but this was a different situation and ceremony now and everything. So I brought the offering out in the Ganga, and then we came back. Then I had Mundan, and then I was invited to go for a snan, which is a bath in the Ganga with the main pandit who did the ceremony. And I'm just there right now. When you asked me this question, what did this do? I said I really stepped into a whole other, maybe even a whole other being of me was being washed. There was something washed away and something being born. And the same what I've been thinking always for Herwig, similar, just in different expressions, you know,
Yes.
in different ways. So this was it was so precious to have this opportunity to be able to do that, and to have this opportunity. And I really must say that, because there's so many other things that maybe come, or for other people also, to literally allow Ma to hold me,
Mhm.
you know, like to give permission to my ego personality or whatever this lower self is, to give Ma the permission to just do. Which reminds me again, you know, of the surrender prayer of Satya Sai Baba.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just you do for me, you know, please do for me. But in a way, that's kind of what I felt, what Ma over and over has been doing and is doing. And I just in the Bay thing, I just gave everything and everything and everything. And I don't know what came out of the other end, but I know that was important to wash.
Yeah. And that's surrender. I
Yeah.
do. I do too. That's beautiful, Kerstin. Just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Our three key takeaways for this session. Number one, surrender is not about defeat. It is letting go of the ego. Number two, when you surrender to your highest self, to the light that you are. Number three, spiritual growth is not possible without surrender. Our journaling exercises for the month. Where are there opportunities in my life to surrender to what is as it is? Number two, in what situations have I experienced the expansion of surrender? Number three, what does it feel like in my body when I experience surrender?
Thank you for
Would you,
having me.
oh, would you like to lead us in a meditation about surrender?
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So see that you're sitting comfortably. That you again become really aware of your physicality, of your body. And close your eyes if you have not already done so. And allow to enter your internal world. And again, maybe we are already in your sacred room. Go into your sacred room. Who is in your sacred room? Who of your light beings, who of your ascended masters, Who of your archangels are there? Master maybe is there. Magdalena is there. Mary Magdalena. Ma is maybe there. And just allow also to really feel, where are you in your sacred space? Where are you right now? How do you furnish your sacred space? How is it for you? How does it look to you? And where are you? Are you sitting on the floor? Are you sitting on a cushion? Are you leaning against a tree? Are you sitting on ground? Are you sitting in a comfortable chair? Just becoming aware and allow yourself to be there fully. In your sacred space. With your light beings, with your ascended masters. With your Mary Magdalena. With your mom. With your master. Become aware what's present for you. What's present for you in your heart. Allow your heart to expand, to shine, to sparkle. How is it for you to be in this place with these light beings, with your gang? How is that? And everything what you think, doesn't matter, whatever you feel, whatever the body sensation is, allow please everything just to simply be there. Anything that shows up, allow it to come and go. It's absolutely okay. Notice if you want to move somewhere else. Maybe you want to move closer to an enlightened being. Maybe you want to move further away. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. Wherever you wish to be. There's nothing that you need to do. Become aware of that. There's nothing that you need to. feel your heart. Take a breath into your heart. Become aware of the energetic side of the heart, the essence, the side of the God in you, the Magdalena in you, the Ma in you. And allow this to simply permeate. From the heart, filling up every cell of your being. The essence that you are. Expanding through the physicality and expanding now out through the subtle bodies, the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body, the causal body, the spiritual body, and further into the crystal light body. Just allow to expand. Going further into the universe, the Milky Way, the stars. Expand. Allow to expand. Allow to expand into infinity. Become aware again of different galaxies, stars, Milky Way. Seeing the Earth, planet Earth, the beautiful, beautiful planet Earth. Seeing all these light spots on planet Earth, all these amazing human essence souls that are incarnated, that have incarnated, that are there. Loving them, loving them, loving them. Seeing the essence of each one of them. The beauty, the love, the tenderness, the courage in everyone, the joy, compassion, the tenderness, the love. Simply seeing it. Again, nothing to do, just seeing for the sake of seeing all these lights on planet Earth. Knowing and seeing that every one of them has a beautiful, beautiful subtle bodies, crystalline light bodies, spiritual body, causal body, mental body, emotional body, etheric body. Everyone. Each one of us is so beautiful light beings. A light. The light that you are, that is anchored through your heart and shining through your heart. Feeling your heart, the essence of your heart. The divine chamber and the human chamber. The pulsation of the divine chamber. It expands the light throughout your whole body. Inviting the divinity of Mary Magdalena into your heart and expand from your heart through your whole body. Becoming aware of the essence of Mary Magdalena, pulsating through your system and opening your arms, maybe opening your hands, the palms facing up, seeing the surrounding of your physicality as this bright, bright light. Where your subtle body started, this bright pulsation, this beautiful light. And inviting Mary Magdalena's, the essence of Mary Magdalena's hands to pulsate through your hands. From your heart, down your arms, into your hands. Imagining your hands are becoming Magdalena's hands. Pure devotion of Magdalena to Master. Whenever she could, she took her hands and touched Master's feet. With what tenderness, with what focus, with what love. With what compassion she cared for Master's feet. Those sandy feet. How she touched and cleaned them. It's pure devotion. Pure devotion to her Master. With respect. With dignity. So much humility in being able to care for her Master. Allowing these qualities into our hands when we touch, when we work with people. When we touch anything in our life, it can be done with the awareness. It's Mary Magdalena's awareness. With the qualities of Mary Magdalena. Bring your hands gently up to your heart. Take a conscious breath. And allow yourself to simply surrender to all these qualities from our beloved Mary Magdalena. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils, down your spine, down to your sacrum. And allow the energy to go down your legs, down to your feet. And again, one more breath in through the nostrils, down your spine to your sacrum, and then down your legs to your feet. And allowing and welcoming the beautiful, beautiful you that you are. The beautiful Magdalena that every one of us is. Surrendering to your essence in every moment. Om Gigi Saima.
Thank you, Kerstin. That was just lovely. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. We are so grateful for your presence. Much love to all of you.